By the time that I was 17, I had taken the life of a young man from my community, ultimately tried and convicted, rightfully so, and was sentenced to 50 years. I went to prison. I was a 7th grade dropout. I was reading in the 3rd or 4th grade level. I was pretty much functionally illiterate. I educated myself. Right. I read books. I read a book a week. That's 52 books a year. In 5 years, that's 260 books as opposed to a man who hasn't read one in that time.
Right.
That automatically puts me at an advantage as opposed to a disadvantage.
Throw your hands up if you with it, drop it.
Thank you for joining another Locked Up and Locked Out, the podcast. My distinguished guest today is Mr. Ray Boyd, aka Ray C, aka Mr. Chef.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, bro, man.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. He's doing tremendous things in the community, moving the needle forward for brothers and sisters that's coming home, man, and the accolades is just piling up, you know what I'm saying? We proud to have, you know what I'm saying, a brother that's poised and just straightforward, man, helping, you know what I'm saying, as many people that you can, and the manner in which you are. Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So give the people, you know what I'm saying, a little background, who you are, not how we met, because we met as kids, but your story, being locked up, man, transforming your mindset.
My story, you know, is different from my story is no different from any other black male, brown male from an urban enclave. I'm born and raised in New Haven, City of New Haven, as you know, right. For those that don't know. Lifelong resident of City of New Haven. Pretty much before I got into my teens, early teens, 12, 13 years old, I thought that, you know, what my mom and father was giving me wasn't enough. I wanted more, you know, and me wanting more came from what I was seeing outside my front door or outside my window.
Right.
I was seeing the fancy cars, I was seeing the clothes, and you know, sometimes when I was going to school, I would see people with multiple pairs of sneakers or multiple pairs of pants and shirts and stuff like that, and those are the things that I aspired to have. So I got involved in illicit activities, selling drugs, and by the time that I was 17, I had taken the life of a young man from my community, ultimately tried and convicted, rightfully so, and was sentenced to 50 years. I wouldn't say the 50-year sentence was rightfully so, but, you know, I had committed that crime. And when I got that 50 years, I went to prison. I was a 7th grade dropout. I was reading in the 3rd or 4th grade level. I was pretty much functionally illiterate, as most black and brown people are when they find themselves incarcerated or disenfranchised white. And when I got in there, and that, you know, I got in there and I got involved in gangs. I got involved in gang violence, and while I was in close custody, I began to do a lot of introspection. And through that introspection, I understood that my reality was I have a 50-year sentence. And, you know, what did I want the rest of my life to look like? How was I gonna give those that were investing in me a return on their investment? You know, my mom was coming to see me. My son was coming to see me at that time. You know, and I just wanted to do something not only better for myself, but I didn't want to keep harming myself, even though I was in a bad situation, right. If that makes sense. So, and also giving those that were investing in me a return on their investment, even if that investment was answering a phone call, if that investment was sending me a letter or sending me a card on my birthday, if that investment was coming to see me, that the time that it took to see me, because my family at sometimes was being turned around at points because I was being housed in segregation when they came to see me. So, you know, I had to consider all of that stuff and the collateral consequences from my actions and how they were harming other people and how other people now had to alter their lives to conform to my confinement.
Right.
You know?
You mentioned family, and I know how that dynamic is with you, know what I'm saying? Specifically, Mom Dukes, who was a powerful lady, you know what I'm saying?
It was definitely.
Own rights and
That's the cloth I'm cut from. People always be like, yo, don't cut from this, but
yeah.
I tell people that's the cloth I'm cut from.
Yeah.
My mom's cloth.
Like, how was that transformation? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question anyway. How was the transformation upon re-entering society with Mom Dukes, your brothers and your siblings and things of that nature, your children? Was any expectations that you already placed on yourself feel overburdensome in any way?
Nah, I'm always transparent because I think that in my transparency, people can learn from my situation. So, like, my relationship with my family, my brothers and sisters, like, I love my brothers and sisters, but there was a point that I didn't like them, and I'll help you understand why I didn't like them at that point, because I was incarcerated.
Right.
Because I did have expectations, and there's a term that says no expectations, no disappointments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and having those expectations, I was continuously disappointed. But coming home, that changed my mindset and shifted. And I said, like, one day I was just like, why am I so bitter towards some of my brothers or my sisters, or, people that were close to me that didn't. And then one day I was like, I used to always say, if they were in my shoes, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't leave them hanging. I wouldn't, there would be more visits, there would be more letters, there would be more phone calls being answered. And then the reality set in and said, yo, what are you doing? You're expecting people to be you. There's only one you.
Right.
And you expecting all of these people to be you.
Right.
Right? And they've never lived in these experiences. So I was pretty much harboring these feelings, these ill feelings towards my family for no reason, because I was expecting them to be me, and I knew damn well they couldn't be me.
Right. They were
You know what I'm saying? And it's not that. This wasn't their world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The expectations that you placed on them.
Yeah, that I placed
was,
on them.
I'm saying, far beyond their reach, because they would never enter that type of world.
Exactly. So one day, that healing process came one day. I had to got my brothers together, and I was like, yo, we need to sit down and we need to talk. And then expressing to them what I was going through helped them understand my situation.
Right.
Because, like I said, they had never lived in this environment. They didn't know what it took, to survive in such an environment. They didn't know the importance of family connections and how, having more family support will help one transition out of a criminal mindset into a civil mindset and go on to become a productive citizen once they return back into the community. So it's a lot of nuances that go along with that. But once I started to share with my family and let my brothers know that they forgave me, we shared a moment where we cried, and we had some wine, and we was out here wilding for it at the winery.
Right.
And our bond has grown stronger since that day, because they say lack of communication was a separation, and because and the lack of communication wasn't on their part, it was on my part. So I take responsibility for not talking to them and not expressing those feelings to them early on. You know what I'm saying? So now we had a good point. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get us to that point, because what I teach is family reunification when individuals are coming home. And how do you reconnect with your family after a day or a decade away from them?
But I believe not every painting is ever going to be the same, because there's certain dynamics, you know what I'm saying, certain situations that take place or just can't be fixed. It can be fixed, but not, or some just are beyond repair. How do you deal with structuring your life back together after so many years of being away, and then coming back into a society where it's digital and you don't have that luxury or that gift of having numerous people aiding you in your endeavors.
So when I was in prison, and everybody knows this about me that did time with me, once I learned how to read and write, I became studious.
Right.
Once I became studious, I bought books that were for entertainment, but I also bought things that I knew would enhance my quality of life on the outside.
Right.
I knew that I had to acquire certain skill sets so that I didn't revert back to what I already knew, because it was easy. It's easy right now at this very moment.
Right.
To do some things that I used to do 35, 40 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I choose not to.
Learn behavior.
Because of what I learned, the new behavior, though.
Right. Exactly.
New behavior is better than the old behavior.
Absolutely. It is.
And what it is just everything in life comes full circle.
Yes.
Right. Situations and circumstances in our life has changed our lives. Some people, those situations and circumstances could be considered the war on drugs.
Right.
Some people in those situations and circumstances could be the war on black and brown bodies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people, those situations and circumstances could be the prison industrial complex boom. But once I began to change my mindset, like I knew that there was no limits for me.
Right.
So what I began to do is educate myself in prison. I did a post, I posted a post maybe like 2 days ago. And in that post, it says, like, I didn't sit in prison and look at stats in the newspaper, or I didn't watch Maury or Jerry Springer, Jenny Jones or Sally Jesse Raphael or Phil Donahue or Oprah Winfrey. I educated myself. Right. I read books. And in my post, I said, I read a book a week. That's 52 books a year. In 5 years, that's 260 books, as opposed to a man who hasn't read one in that time. Right. You know what I'm saying? That automatically puts me at an advantage as opposed to a disadvantage.
To your point,
coming home.
To your point, not to cut your wisdom. What I liked about our inner circle, which made us rich, beyond your wildest imagination, is the fact that we shared these books, we shared education, and we had like school. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what did you get out of it? You know what I'm saying?
Didn't grab a book.
It ain't just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, know what I mean?
Especially if I read it already.
Yeah, like, yo, man, give me 5 pointers, you know what I'm saying, on this book, you know what I'm saying, on a breakdown. And if you can't do that, don't circle back to me until you're really ready, you know what I'm saying, for that transformation.
What I learned is, if they not ready for it, you only got to tell them don't come around no more.
You did not do it right.
And we know prison is crazy how prison politics work, because sometimes if a person isn't ready or vulnerable enough to tell you where they're at, because like for me, becoming educated while in prison, I knew the demographic of those that were illiterate. You know, I knew, like, so that's why, and a lot of things with people, like, people always like, yo, you know that person, or you know this person. I was entrusted by a lot of people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. To shield, you know, their level of education at that time. So, like, and confidentiality is big for me. And I think that's why I have solid relationships with people, because I don't run around and I don't backbite, I don't bicker. I'm here to help you. I'm striving to be solution. If I can get you out of the place that you're in to a better place tomorrow, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think people saw that. And some of the brothers that were coming to me, asking me to, yo, read this legal letter, read this letter from my girl, read this letter from my baby mother, read this letter from my kids. Some dude's kids were smarter than them.
Right.
And these were adolescents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I did it with pride. I pulled them in the room, or I went to their room, and bro, this is where we at. However, I read the letter, but I want to help you get to where you don't need no assistance no more.
Right.
You're doing this thing on your own, because I know the joy that comes with it, because I know once I was vulnerable enough and put myself out there and begin to teach myself how to read and write and, you know, become prolific with the pen, I taught myself how to adjudicate the law.
Right.
It was like, yo, Goliath slaying mad dragons. Then after that, couldn't none stop me.
It was so pivotal, like, when we was together, that we had, like I said, a team of brothers, a band of brothers that dedicated themselves to enriching their life, to making sure you're accountable for your actions. Stand up, you know what I'm saying? Yo, listen, man, that right there, we done did that. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna continue down that path? But everybody that we dealt with are in the here and now because of the fruits of their labor, I believe, you know what I'm saying? And you can't negate first and foremost God, you know what I'm saying?
Sure do.
His mercy. But like, we courted law. Like, to be learned and skilled and have a certain niche to understanding the very thing that got you where you're at, and to find the very thing that gets you out is remarkable. But it gives you a sense of pride and a sense of learned behavior that is worth more than gold, because you're like, man, I was here coming from the streets, you know what I'm saying? And then being in here where the body count is catching up, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing people get really, you know what I'm saying, tormented. And you can go left or right. You're choosing to stay on the straight path and understand what the straight path consists of. And then coming home and being true to form, you know what I'm saying? That's even more remarkable, because people already wrote us off.
True indeed. But like coming home and doing the work, and like when we talk about paths, like in there, I don't live my life trying to be pleasing to man.
No, absolutely not.
So like, and taking on that concept, I don't care if you accept me or reject me. I accept me.
Absolutely.
And I strive to move. That's why I move the way I move, and I'm on the path that I'm in, and I'm in the lane that I'm in, because no one's going to take me off that path. No one's going to take me out of that lane. No one's going to push me over and make me move over, because I'm doing what's right. And I have a sense of enjoyment that comes to me from doing what's right. So I'm just going to stay the course, bro. That's why people are like, yo, you're doing everything you said you was doing in there. But that's not hard to do.
No, absolutely.
That's not hard to do.
It's a state of mind.
And one of my brothers was talking, he's like, yo, he was talking about he speaks 4 languages. The brother asked him, what's the other language? What's the last language? He said, I speak manifestation. Oh, that's powerful.
Speak something into us.
I speak manifestation, and every day that's how we should be living our life. Every morning I get up and strive to be solution based for the people that I'm touching. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get on the phone. I don't want to talk about anything that's going to stagnate my growth and development. If we talking about something that's productive, I'm on the phone with you. You know, when you call me, boom, you better have something to talk about.
Right.
Because my mind needs to be working throughout that conversation.
Right.
If you ain't giving me nothing that's going to feed my mind, even if it's helping you, if you throwing an idea by me and I can help you and I can enhance that idea, it's stimulating my growth and development, bro. But it's an intrinsic value for me, because I know that, yo, what I did for you, it came from the heart. I do everything from the heart. I don't do nothing looking for nobody. Because I know mine's going to come, because I know the path that I'm on.
True indeed.
And I know that if you stay on this path, you're going to continue to reap rewards.
Right. That's the beauty, like, in growth. Understanding, you know what I'm saying, who you are, where you're at, meeting the rubber where the mat is at. You know what I'm saying? It's like moving forward by all means necessary, but that's what men do. Transform, you know what I'm saying, and transcend. Leaps and bounds, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's remarkable, because we have friends that's in Yale, you know what I'm saying, like, other colleges, you know what I'm saying, like, and doing tremendous things, you know what I'm saying. It's like, if we nurtured our youth and catered to that, where we would have chance, you know what I'm saying. But God makes no mistakes, you know what I'm saying. Everything was a lesson and another niche in our belt to give back, you know what I'm saying, to the young brothers and sisters that may not want to listen to, you know what I'm saying, their teacher or somebody, you know what I'm saying, but or listen to us because we actually lived that life, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, you ain't saying nothing. The switch you talk about or the stick, you know what I'm saying, we had long clips, you know what I'm saying, we did all that nonsense, you know what I'm saying, which is about
all it is semantics now.
Exactly.
Because words are just cheap to describe those
nonsense.
Yeah, we already lived it.
It was a tool that was used on us, you know what I'm saying, that's being reused on them to think that they're doing something cunning, you know what I'm saying, or appealing to the masses.
But think about it, they have that same mindset that you had at that.
Absolutely.
You're only seeing it through a different lens because you're through the maturation.
Right.
So I think what we felt at in our community is some of us that are formerly incarcerated and some of us that have never been incarcerated, I think the onus is on those that are incarcerated because, like I just told you, like that's who you were when you was 13. My brother pushed up on me one day and was like, we're having an adult conversation now. And a 13-year-old had killed a 15-year-old, I think, in the town.
Right.
And he was like, he was kind of baffled when he got in the car. He's like, but bro, I don't understand. What the hell does a 13-year-old get a gun? And I really looked at him and was like,
you don't know?
No. I said, what do you think that I got my gun from?
Yeah.
At 13. Streets. The streets.
Yeah. The streets.
The streets.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I didn't even think about it like that because now that you're older, now we looking through our mother's lenses. When our mother used to look at us, be like, boy, you bad as hell. You run around here with these people. And now we saying that. You know why? Because now we found value in our lives.
Right.
Because we was throwing our lives away when we ain't had no value for it. That's when we was that kid. And that's why I do the work. I love going into MRI on Fridays doing the work that I do there. I love going into the county jails doing the work that I do there. I love going into York doing the work that I do there. Every facility that I touch, bro, I love going in there because, and I go in there with passion that I wish someone was able to come in there when I was early in my bed. I wish someone, especially someone that I looked up to, someone that had did the amount of time. It didn't necessarily have to be the amount of time that I did, but just someone coming with that sense of positivity to say, yo, look, on the outside, you don't have to make these choices. There's better choices out there for you to have a better life for yourself.
True indeed.
Nobody expected, I mean, by Allah's grace, you were rewarded what you was rewarded, but I'm talking about the brothers that went home, the brothers that are working. Nobody expected us to do that. That just wasn't in the demographics of reentry. Right. It was coming home, getting back involved in the same negativity, and keeping that revolving door open. I think the successes in this past 6-7 years of brothers coming home and doing good, starting businesses, working with organizations and all of that is a wonderful thing. But the thing that's missing is the love and the camaraderie that we can be unifying ourselves to as a whole to strengthen what we do, the work that we do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what's holding us. That's what's holding them back because I could work with. I don't have to like people to work with people.
No, because at the end of the day,
we're going to reach.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't. But that's hard for some people to understand because people deal with ego.
Yes,
deal with ego.
Once you see, but to understand or function, you have to kill ego.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because ego will prevent you from moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just another roadblock that you placed up to allow yourself to have an excuse.
Yeah.
I have no excuses.
So we use the acronym for ego is called edging God out, right? So, and I say to myself, every time you edge God out of the equation, right, of what you're doing,
you fail.
You fail. And I think anytime you allow your ego to play a role in you working with somebody, especially somebody that, you dealt with before, like, because we all dealt with one another before. We just got out here and became a fraction of a whole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so, because we all have our own lives that we want to live. We all have our own families that we want to, we want to develop. We all have, extended friendships that we know, like, we don't have to be, we had to be up under each other every day because we were confined.
Right.
you know, and we were confined in a quarter.
You gotta play nice.
So we woke up and I seen you. You were my neighbor every day. But now we're not neighbors anymore. We live in different places and demographically. So we're getting up every morning. I get up every morning. I say hi to my neighbor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The snow come. I turn my neighbor don't have a snowplow. I turn my snowplow on and I hit his sidewalk.
Right.
Or her sidewalk.
Right.
You know, because I don't have nothing to do with myself.
Right.
It ain't that I owe that to them.
No.
But I'm being a good neighbor.
You're extending
Yeah,
yourself as
exactly.
I'm saying, extended family members. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like if I see somebody that's unwanted next to your house, hey, how you doing? What you looking for?
Yeah.
You know somebody else?
I have a Muslim family that that moved next door to me. The first snowstorm I went, and the brother was out there with a shovel.
Yeah.
I told him,
Yeah, I got you, man.
ran up and down his driveway and everything, shukran, and went home.
Yeah.
I ain't need that. So to him, he's like, is that a Muslim brother that just
Right. No.
Nah.
I just understand as a neighbor.
what you needed?
Right. Exactly. I had
The solution to the problem.
Right.
So you think me, that 50 cent of gas that it would take for me to run that, what's the name, up and down your driveway, as opposed to you trying to raise your family, you out here having a heart attack trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Heavy snow.
It makes sense to do it.
Absolutely.
And my blessing's not going to come from you.
I'm not worrying about that.
I'm not worrying about that. And I didn't do it because you Muslim. I did it because you're my neighbor.
Yes. And that's what just separates you from the rest, because you're functioning at a high level in society because you put the work in behind the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You took the hard look at the man in the mirror. I like using that, you know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jackson said, I'm stuck with the man in the mirror. I got to make that change. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in order to make that change, you have to take the hard look and the necessary deepening, you know what I'm saying, cleansing of who you once were, who you are, you know what I'm saying? What do you want to be defined as, you know what I'm saying? Personally and outwardly, you know what I'm saying? Because outwardly, you know what I'm saying, when the courts handed you a sentence, they had something to say. Oh, you're a menace to society. They love that.
The judge sentenced me.
You're unfit for society.
He said, yo, I don't see anything that warrants that I don't see anything that Mr. Boyd has displayed that warrant any light at the end of the tunnel.
This is what they gave me.
You know what I'm saying?
You're a menace. I don't even have a crazy right. Where you get this from? I'm a menace to society. Yeah, I'm a menace to society. I'm unfit for society. Wow, that's deep. Like,
but also like when I talk about situations and circumstances, right? The reality is there was a war on drugs. The reality is there was a war on black and brown.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, behind closed doors, somebody said, yo, listen, we have to make these penalties the way they are. So, and making these penalties the way they are, there has to be a narrative to go along with the penalty.
This is the narrative.
And the narrative is like, yo, you're deemed unfit for society.
Right.
You're a menace. You're a super predator.
Right.
You're this, that, and the third. But you're everything that we need to say on record to put you away for the rest of the
indeed.
Whether you did it or not.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about that.
And in all truth, like for me, like my level of contrition is like, yo, like, this is another way, the reason why I do what I do, because I don't want families to hurt from losing their loved ones to the grave, and I don't want families to hurt by losing a loved one to the penitentiary.
So indeed.
And this is why I do the work that I do, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it really means something to me when I could say, yo, I dealt with a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, and I see him years later, and yo, he's made different choices in his life.
Right. See, you have to meet these kids where they at. Not talk past them, not talk at them, you know what I'm saying? Talk with them.
You have to have patience.
Yeah. Like, yo, listen, man, Rome wasn't built that night. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have patience.
And if we're going to be perfectly honest, it's like, yo, we were stubborn. You know what I'm saying? We were stubborn to the T. Like, man, listen, you can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm making this money. How you going to tell me something?
Even when I went to parole, right? the chair asked me, "Do you remember what the judge said to you?" And I said vaguely, you know, because it was 30 some odd years ago.
Right.
And she was like, she said that, you know, he said he didn't see anything that warned him to give you any light at the end of the tunnel. And then she was like, what do you think about that? And in all truth, bro, I sat there and I said, that was befitting for that time, because that was the adolescent or the young teenager that I had become. I needed to be removed from society so that I could become a better person.
I disagree in the sense that you have yet to start your life.
But we talk about that I had called.
Right. True indeed.
Right.
But you not, and they understanding the nature of the mind.
Yeah, so I could sit.
You know what I'm saying?
So we could sit here and
because
say
these are educated people.
You could say the mind, right? And sometimes, right, you could say the mind, and I understand the psychology and the science of the mind that we utilize today, right? But we talking about some things that's in the mind isn't something that's tangible, right? Because you could change your thoughts, but you can't change your mind. It's just what it is, right? But when you look at the fact that you didn't commit your crime,
right?
I committed my crime,
right.
So when committing with crime, yeah, I went through a decision-making process.
Right.
Did I understand it fully? No. Because of the mind. But I went through a decision-making process and decided that not necessarily that I was going to take a man's life, but I was going to shoot that man.
Right.
And I was going to make that man, you know, really feel what I was feeling, the hurt that I was feeling, whatever I was going through, whatever laid at the surface of, you know, my ills that I was going through. I just lost my father 9 months before I caught my body. No one was there to help me understand the grieving process. It was like, all right, we just going to bury your dad and you go on and live your life. We don't care how you feel. And we don't care if you miss some. We don't care none of that.
Right.
But see, these are the things that are missing in our communities.
Right.
Because we're not getting to the root issues of why our teenage boys and girls are acting.
Absolutely.
Because nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to take the patience to hear them. You just hear, take your ass to school, get up in the morning, make your bed, don't leave my house looking crazy. And this is the level of education that's coming out of the home. Not all homes, but the homes that we come from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Broken. Dysfunctional.
Either alcoholism, drugs, or working 9 to 5.
Yeah. If your mother works and you in the house,
she too much time. You have time, idle time to do.
You the 6 brothers and 3 sisters.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Every day was a fun day in my house.
Right.
Or chaos in my house.
Right. Pick the day. Yeah.
You had to pick the day.
Yeah. But what? And then, God forbid, a girl. You know what I'm saying? Growing up by herself, or having a parent or a single parent home where the mother busting her tail to make sure and the lights stay on and things of that nature, and she's looking for love or understanding with somebody, and then these nonsense, you know what I'm saying, of the community can get to you, you know what I'm saying, and you have a child that's went rogue, and you're trying to rein her in or rein him in. You have to be like spot on. You have to be there. Like,
I think what it is, you have to be able to parent.
And right.
Nowadays, I don't see a lot of parents. I see a lot of friends to
right. I don't want to be.
Everybody wants to be cool with their kid.
Right. I'm not that person.
Out with their kid.
Yeah.
They want to go club with their kid.
Yeah. I'm not going to. I'm not going to be that person.
So they don't want to parent. Like, I see some kids I watch, because I strive to stay in tune with what's going on, so that I'm able to teach from those standpoints. And when I look at certain social media sites, I see certain mothers letting their sons throw up gang signs, and the mothers are the ones taking the pictures while the sons are throwing them. It's not, if you told your son
it was all right
just to pose, he would pose. If you told him to take that hand sign down, he would listen to you. But you don't understand that when you take a picture of your child, right, and you got 1,500 followers or 2,500 followers, and you repost that picture of your child throwing up whatever sign he may be throwing up because he
don't put him in that light
neighborhood that you grew up in. and he's repping that neighborhood, you put your son at risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you have.
Subconsciously, mothers don't think like that. Fathers too.
Right.
Some fathers get training their kids at young ages to throw up, neighborhood signs.
Yeah. Like, you understand with that brain.
You could pull up at any park and or walk downtown, you can ask a mother that may be pushing her 4 or 5-year-old in a stroller, where you from? He's going to give you a neighborhood.
Yeah.
He's not going to say I'm from New Haven.
No.
He's going to say I'm from the Trey. I'm from the Ville.
Right.
I'm from the Hill.
Yeah.
Right? Because education, when we talk about spirituality, the Bible says, my people are dead from a lack of knowledge. So we have a group of people teaching their children these negative things because they're not aware. They're not woke enough to know that, we're being more of a detriment to not only our children, but our community as a whole.
Right.
Because the very moment you lose your child for some shit that you put out there, right, you going to be like, this community needs to change. These kids need to be locked up for the rest of their life. But this is the same son. A couple months ago, you was telling, you better not be telling on nobody.
Yeah.
You better not be going to the police. You better not be doing this. You better. So what you're teaching your kid, right, is a criminal way of thinking. You're not teaching your kid to think as a student. You're not teaching your kid to think scholarly.
Right.
So you want your kid to go from home to the penitentiary and not from high school to college.
So you are what you eat.
Definitely. If I ask you, I used to tell brothers, if I ask you this morning what you had for breakfast, you could tell me what you had for breakfast, but I ask you what you fed yourself mentally, because mental food is just as good as your physical food.
Absolutely.
Right?
Not.
So if you can tell me what you ate in the morning that for breakfast,
right,
for your physical compensation, what are you feeding yourself mentally? Why you can't tell me I don't care if you listen to a podcast that morning. Give me something. Tell me you fed yourself something in the morning that's beneficial to your mental state, that's beneficial to your maturation, that's beneficial to your growth and development.
Yes.
So I don't care what you eat in the morning physically.
Right. Because at the end of the day.
But tell me what you eat on a daily basis mentally.
Yeah. It's important that we get these messages to the children, the youth, and we also working on helping brothers and sisters come home that can add to, the pot, because it's a lot of work to do, but we're men enough, to stand to that task, because of the work we did in our own personal lives, and overcoming a Goliath, type of situation, and it's like we see the carnage from us being hurled away, and then coming home and seeing where the youth is at today, and then the work that we've done in short spans of time since we've been home is not, if not remarkable, man, it's just astonishing, man. Like, you have a halfway house.
No, I have a transitional house.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So like, what was the thought pattern behind that? Like
that started, like everything that I'm manifesting, like we talk about manifestation. Right. Everything that I'm doing now was born out of ideas while I was incarcerated.
True indeed.
The coffee company was born out of ideas while I was incarcerated. I see 2 black men being, costed out of a Starbucks in Philadelphia. And I was like, why are we always trying to join other people that don't want us in a place and patronizing their places? So how can we start something, that's inclusive, where we welcome people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, I'm going to start a coffee company when I go home.
Wow.
I wrote the blueprint while I was in there, and it manifested itself while I was out here.
Right.
When I was in there, I was saying, all of these brothers are talking about halfway houses. I'm hearing these stories from halfway houses. One, I don't want to partner with no Department of Corrections because I don't want to have what I designed to be carceral.
Right.
I don't want it to have a carceral feel. So I designed a house where it gives men autonomy. You know what I'm saying? To be the sole controllers of your own outcome.
Right.
I'm not teaching a grown man or telling a grown man, yo, what time you need to come home.
Right.
Because you should already know what time a man is supposed to be home, because you're saying you're functioning as a man. You know, in prison, in the penitentiary, everybody saying, yo, don't talk to me like that. I'm a man. Well, yo, you can't say that to me. I'm a man.
Right.
Okay, I'm allowing you to come home to be exactly who you said you are.
Right. Be that man.
Be that man.
Right.
Show me you're the man.
Right.
I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to create a space for you to show me you're that man. You're not going to share a room with another grown man. You don't have to worry about that. So those aren't your complaints anymore.
Right.
You can go to work, you know, with a peace of mind. You don't got to worry about nobody leaving nothing in your room. You got a full-size bed in there. Where a grown man can sleep and stretch out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have a twin-size bed.
Step up to your responsibility.
Now you be responsible. You get a job. You know, I drop in. I help mentor you. I help you with your finances. I share ideas with you that have helped me have a successful reentry after 30 years of incarceration. And I you don't have to follow them all, but I'm just giving you gems to follow to help you see that, yo, it's possible. If you watch me come home in 2 years, I mean, I've been home 4 years and 3 months. I own 2 homes. I own 3 cars. I started businesses. I started a nonprofit. I'm the program manager at Yale Law School. I was a research technician at the Institute of Municipal and Regional Policies at UConn Law School. I'm an author. I'm writing another book, From Confinement to Freedom, right now. I'm finishing up, which I showed you.
So how has that process been?
Like, people see, like you said, people see the rewards, but they don't see the labor that going to.
Right, absolutely.
It's very labor intense. I'm holding now 3 jobs and doing other things.
Right.
Trying to have a social life, trying to have a romantic life, and, you know, going places with my wife. That's why, like, you see me and I'm going somewhere is because, yo, I need a break.
Absolutely.
I need a break. And my breaks don't need to be just sit in the house and isolate yourself from the world. Nah, my breaks need to be me and my wife getting up and jumping on a plane and going somewhere or driving somewhere and enjoying ourselves, cutting our phones off. I told her this last week, I said, now, every Sunday morning we go to breakfast, we'll spend 2-3 hours together, but our phones we can't play our phones.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, because we're both hard workers. But I want more time with my wife. She wants more time with me. So now this is how we create that time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not that we're in a bad situation, but we want more of each other.
But that's what adulthood consists of.
Yeah.
Understanding where we're at, what's need to be done to broaden or shrinking the gap, or if we understand that wedges are being, you know what I'm saying, formed by us working and, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature, how can we make sure that we're solid, you know what I'm saying? Because once it's home solid, you know what I'm saying, everything blossoms.
I think, like, so what brothers need to understand, like, coming home, like, I know, like I told you, we all used to just being confined. Like, we don't see each other as much as we used to. We don't talk to each other as much as we used to, rightfully so, because we all have our individual lives. However, when I talk to you, it's as if I talked to you yesterday. It may have been a month or 2 packed. Yeah. But when you called me, I answered.
Vice versa.
And that's the thing. When brothers call, I got some brothers that I used to speak to every day. I don't even talk to them now. It's a text. I get a thumbs up if I share something with them. Or I don't even get a hi from them. They may be sending me something and saying, yo, this person want to know this. And I'm like, damn, I ain't even get a hi from you. But okay, boom.
Yeah.
Because I'm striving to be solution-based. It's not about you. It's about who I can help.
Right.
You sent for help for the other person.
All right. Just big. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I strive to do. But, like, I want brothers to know, like, yo, you don't see me because I'm working, bro. I'm working. And those of you brothers that don't see me like out, like when you outside, is because, yo, I got too much to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As simple as that.
I don't swim in ponds. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even that, bro. It's just the fact that the places aren't places that unbecoming.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be in those places.
That's what I meant.
I was there before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what that cesspool consists of. You
guys don't know what it is to pay a mortgage. You don't know what it is to have, like a 3% usage on 20 cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this is real life stuff. Like, some of these dudes never had a credit card before.
Right.
And they comfortable with that.
Right.
You know, some of them never had mortgages before. They never had rent before because they still live with their girlfriends. So when you have responsibilities in your life, right? And responsibility, yeah, because think about it. The word responsibility is only the ability to respond. So it's how you have the ability to respond to certain situations and certain circumstances in life is going to show how responsible you are.
Man, never lie.
And that every day I wake up to try to be the best responsible person I can be, bro. And it doesn't require me hanging out. Like, I don't go to certain clubs, but I may share repost on social media. Yo, this is a club that you may go to for those that go there. And that's how I support Black entrepreneurship in my community. I don't patronize it, but I do have friends that drink. But I do have friends that may want to, you know, patronize it just by.
Yeah.
So I'll share a post.
Right.
But you can't get me in there for a drink.
Right. Listen, man. This gotta be a part 2 to this, man.
I told you, bro. I'm here for you.
And I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the
and
love
you already know where the love is coming from, bro. It said, man, what?
But no, it's refreshing, to say the least, to come through so much pain and to see a smile. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have. So I took
because you always smile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but because like
smile,
you know, like yo, that brightens your day. It changes. It alters the body chemistry. If I would have, you know, we used to walk down the halls and be mad. I used to tell dudes walking down the halls they mad, and we wouldn't speak to each other, but we see the CO in the hall. Yeah, yo, how you doing, CO Smith? Yo, Smith, how you doing? I'm like, why we can't speak to each other, but we can speak to authority?
Oh, right.
And we can act like we have hate towards one another. So I went through a process where I'm just speak to brothers. Yo, how you doing? How you doing? They acknowledge brothers and let them know, like, yo, I see you.
Yeah. Or
you know, you even in your worst state, I see you.
Yeah.
You here with me? I see you, and I smile because that's life, bro.
True indeed.
That's life. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. I don't have none of that things because even though I was in the worst situation, I made the best out of it.
True indeed. Rightfully so, though.
Yeah, and you know I like to keep people laughing because I want people to enjoy life. Yeah. No matter what your situation and circumstances is, you need to be able to enjoy life.
I mean, it's a lot of things going on in this world with immigration and you know, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, uncertainty, you know what I'm saying, but the one thing people can rest assured to understand is that we here, we're standing up, we're going to be accounted for, and we're going to stay continuously plugging away because there's a lot of issues to be talked about, a lot of enlightenment minds that need to be brightened and hip to some things that you just may not know. But with brothers like the brother Mr. Boyd and previous guests that come on this show, one thing you know is all about positivity and growth and enlightenment. So thank you, the brothers and sisters of Locked Up and Locked Out. And if this is your first time tapping on to Locked Up and Locked Out, thank you. And please come back and enjoy more episodes, powerful people like this brother.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Shoot, man. We know we can go on for hours, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo.